Welcome to chapter 29 of the book of Numbers, a holy summoning in the seventh month. The seventh month was one of the most important months in the Jewish calendar. It started off with the Feast of the Trumpets, shofar. I'm not sure if Sal Pink's is a metal trumpet. I think it was metal trumpets. And then on the 10th was the Day of Atonement, and then following that were the 7 days of Feast of Tabernacles, or Succoth. It begins on the first one, and the seventh month, day one of the month, will be a holy summoning to you. That is from Jerusalem. All servile work you shall not do. A day of signal it will be to you. It doesn't say trumpets or horn or a shofar, anything like that. It's a day of signal. It will be to you. And you shall offer whole burnt offerings for a scent of pleasant aroma to the Lord. Now, the rest of this chapter is pretty much all about the different animals that will be sacrificed on these times. I put together right here a list of the first 7th month, the first day, that should be trumpets. And then Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, and then down to tents. And so it has it all listed out. I'm just going to go right on through it. You can go back and check that list out. I'll bring it up again here and there. So to be a scent of pleasant aroma, as it mentioned in the last chapter, how that was, we are the pleasant aroma now, not the animals. The Lord has a pleasant aroma when we do the things that he would have us to do, that Jesus would have us to do. All sorts of things, basically heart attitudes, treating people well, respect, love, cherish, all these things for the heart. It hasn't anything to do with patting somebody on the back or sacrificing an animal any longer. But here it did. So it says the animals, one calf from out of the oxen, the draft animals, one ram, 7 unblemished lambs of a year old, and again Jesus was unblemished, without sin. Their sacrifice offering shall be of fine flour, being prepared in olive oil. Tria decata, try, 3. For the one calf, and dio decata, do 10ths for the one ram. A 10th tithe, so I mentioned before, when these two are together, then I use tithe for the second one. To the one lamb, to the 7 lambs. And a young he-goat from the goats, one for a sin offering to atone for you. Besides the whole burnt offerings of the new moon, and their sacrifice offerings, and their libations, and the continual whole burnt offering, and their sacrifice offerings, and their libations according to their interpretation, for a scent, a pleasant aroma to the Lord. And the 10th of this month, so now we'll go to the 10th, that's right here, Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, the holiest day of the year. You shall afflict your souls, and all work you shall not do. Afflicting your soul and not working, you would think, well, that's easy. That's like taking a vacation. But afflicting your souls is doing the things of the Lord, putting your attention towards him, not just to have fun and go take off and go to the beach. And you shall bring whole burnt offerings, for a scent of pleasant aroma, yield offering to the Lord, 1 calf from out of the oxen, 1 ram, 7 lambs of a year old. They shall be unblemished to you. Their sacrifice offering shall be fine flour, being prepared in olive oil. 3/10 to the 1 calf, and 2/10 to the 1 ram. A 10th tithe to the 1 lamb for the 7 lambs, and 1 young he-goat from the goats for a sin offering to atone for you. So all these are put into these atonement type thing where the priest goes in, puts himself in between the person and God. Besides the one for the sin offering of the atonements, different atonements, and the continual whole burnt offering, its sacrifice offering, and its libation. So along with the animals, there is bread and liquor, liquid, according to the interpretation, a yield offering to the Lord. And the 15th day of the 7th month. Now we'll go back up there. I'm having trouble here. 15th day. And you'll see the only difference between all of these is it goes down from Acts and from 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And the 722 is the day after. Now why it drops down and these all stay the same, I'm not sure. And the 15th day of this 7th month will be a holy summoning to you, the Feast of Tents. All servile work you shall not do, and you shall solemnize it as a holiday to the Lord for 7 days. And you shall bring whole burnt offerings, that is the meat yield offering, for a scent of pleasant aroma to the Lord. On the first day, 3 and 10, 13 calves from out of the oxen, 2 rams, 14 lambs of a year old. They shall be unblemished. Their sacrifice offerings shall be of fine flour, being prepared in olive oil. 3 tenths to the 1 calf, to the 13 calves, and 2 tenths to the 1 ram for the 2 rams, and a 10th tithe to the 1 lamb for the 4 and 10 lambs. And 1 young he-goat of the goats for a sin offering, besides the whole continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. And the 2nd day, 12 calves from out of the oxen, 2 rams, 4 and 10 unblemished lambs of a year old, their sacrifice offering and their libation to the calves, to the rams, and to the lambs, according to their number, according to their interpretation. And a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, besides the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. The 3rd day, 11 calves, 2 rams, 4 and 10 unblemished lambs of a year old, their sacrifice offerings and their libation to the calves and to the rams, to the lambs according to their number, according to their interpretation. And a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, beside the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. The 4th day, 10 calves, 2 rams, 4 and 10 unblemished lambs of a year old, their sacrifice offerings and their libations to the calves, to the rams and to the lambs, according to their number, according to their interpretation. And a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, besides the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and libations. The 5th day, 9 calves, 2 rams, 4 and 10 unblemished lambs, their sacrifice offerings and their libations to the calves, and to the rams and to the lambs according to their number, according to their interpretation, and a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, besides the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. The 6th day, 8 calves, 2 rams. This is on and on. 14 unblemished lambs of a year old, their sacrifice offerings and their libations to the calves and to the rams, to the lambs according to their number, according to their interpretation. And a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, besides the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. And the last day, the 7th day, 7 calves, and this is 7, for some reason we only have, comes down to 7. 2 rams, 14 unblemished lambs of a year old, and their sacrifice offerings and their libations to the calves, and to the rams and to the lambs, according to their number, according to their interpretation. And a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, besides the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. So that's the end of Sukkoth. Now, the eighth day is the day after, will be a holiday recess to you. And I'm not sure if it has a name. All servile work you shall not do in it. And you shall lead forward whole burnt offerings for a scent of pleasant aroma, yield offerings to the Lord. And we can see that it's different here. 1, 1, 7, and 1. 1 calf, 1 ram, 7 unblemished lambs of a year old, their sacrifice offerings and their libations to the calf and to the ram and to the lambs, according to their number, according to their interpretation. And a young he-goat of the goats, 1 for a sin offering, besides the continual whole burnt offering, their sacrifice offerings and their libations. These things you shall do to the Lord in your holidays, beside your vows and your voluntary offerings, and your whole burnt offerings, and your sacrifice offerings, and your libations, and your deliverance offerings, all the other offerings that were to be done. These are in addition. And Moses spoke to the sons of Israel concerning all as many things as the Lord gave charge to Moses. So, great feasts, a lot of animals being brought to the temple and sacrificed, and people came there from all over Israel, as Jesus did. You can go back into Leviticus and find out more about these feasts, exactly what they entailed and the times, and check them out there. But this chapter was basically had to do just with the animals that were being slain. Now they mentioned vows. Now we're going to go into the ordinances regarding vows in our next seminar in chapter 30, and hope you'll continue. Until then, God bless.